you step up to the counter and order Taylor, the latte boy, bring me Java, bring me joy. Oh, Taylor, the latte boy, I love him, I love him, I love him. So many years my heart has waited. Who'd have thought that love could be so caffeinated? Taylor, the latte boy, I love him, I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him. Things have come to a pretty pass. Our romance is growing flat.
For you like this and the other, while I go for this and that.
Goodness knows what the end will be. Oh, I don't know where I'm at.
It looks as if we two will never be one.
Something must be done.
You say either, and I say either.
You say neither, and I say neither.
Either,
Either,
neither.
neither.
Let's call the whole thing off.
You like potato, and I like potato.
You like tomato, and I like tomato.
Potato,
Potato,
tomato.
tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
But oh, if we call the whole thing off, then we must part.
And oh, if we ever part, then that would break my heart.
So if I go for scallops and you go for lobster,
No more discussion, we'll both order tofu. For we know we need each other, so we better call the calling of love. Let's call the whole thing off. For we know we need each other, so we better call the calling of love. Let's call the whole thing off. Mama, io non tengo visto. nido al entro de mi corazón. Assentada en mi ventana, lavorando el bastidor, a verme come tuggero. Mi amor se desposó, a verme come tuggero. Mi amor se desposades mi querido, con viticos me enviarás, comeré con amargura, también con mucho llorar.
Quitatas, metatas, las muchachas meten más en el mes de Hanukkah, surieremos la cepa. Quitatas, metatas, las muchachas meten más en el mes de Hanukkah, surieremos la cepa. Quita la gallina de la cocina, quita la gallina de la cocina, ponle toda la benzina que no sea medicina. En el mes de Hanukkah, surieremos la cepa. Las muchachas meten más en el mes de Hanukkah.
frei und befreit. In der Bar, es bin Matzes knädlich, in jeder Jid ist bei sich am Meilach. Ach, wie wohl, hier noch wie lieb, sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, hier noch wie lieb, sie zu sein a Jid. Jontef Schwies a Fahrgeliegen, aus Gott hat uns die Teure gegeben. In der Bar essen milchige Knädlach, in jeder Jid ist bei sich am Meilach. Ach, wie wohl, hier noch wie geht sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, hier noch wie geht sie zu sein a Jid. Bei sich ois Käufer, noch ein Essen, geht ihn zum Teich, und man warft da rein, wie auf welches Sassach. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid. Zählen die Lecht, in jeder Jid ist bei sich gerecht. Am ganzen Tag geht man ihm in die Socken, in nach der Nacht ist man sicher flogen. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht sie zu sein a Jid. Chane gezint, wenn die Lichtlach acht, Bulbes Latkes wird gemacht. A ganze Woche tit man Hallen suchen, jeglich in Meilach Kuchen schlugen. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid. Ach, wie wohl, ihr noch wie geht, sie zu sein a Jid.
Unser Tisch steht weiß gesprayt, die Silberleichte, die Arbakoises, fahren Seder als schon greit, schmure Matzos und Charoises. In weißen Kittel ungetan, auf den weichen Hessebett, sitzt der Tate oben Maon und die Mame bei der Seite. Und mir fragen die vier Kasches, man ist da noch Leilo Hose, Mikol Haleilois. Der zählt der Tage Zeuber Meises und mir vergafte Herren Eus. Avodim hoinu, Knecht seinen mir gewähn, beim Rosho Paro in Mitzrayim. Unser Zar hat Gott der Sehn von Knechtschaft uns getan befreien. Men trinkt a Koisem, macht a Moizzi und men hebt schon an dem Tisch. Men tut die Moror in die Kreuses und men nimmt sich zu die Fisch. Der Tate singt noch, ist freilich und schmeichelt also lieb. Die Mame bringt Madane in Melech und mir dacht, es tanzt die Stieb. Der Kos Eliyahu a Fuller steht mit reuten finkeldicken Wein. Unser Tier is eufenbreit. Eliyahu Hanovi kommt rein.
Passover at Auntie Honey's and Uncle Harvey's in New Jersey. My sister would hold her breath over the George Washington Bridge and we would laugh at her. She'd frown. Everyone, including Nan, Ida, would be standing at the front door when we pulled up, and we'd count down 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'd fight to be the first out of the car. Having come this far, having come so far for this feast of no yeast, and the matzo balls are so hard when you cut them, they just fly. Why Passover? On this day, we read of plagues and misfortune, then start eating. Uncle Harvey's the cook. Ma laughed so hard that she shook. Cousin Gary is reading porn. We've run out of skull caps. Some men are wearing Acapulco Beach Club bandanas that really, really, really should not be worn. We are Jews like from the first 5,000 years, laughing through our tears. Joyous, vulgar, anything goes, but we wear nice clothes. That's the way I like remembering this scene, manic and high. Why Passover? In the Passover prayer book, we read about what Pharaoh did to the Jews, about how Pharaoh wore these big gold platform shoes, and how the Jews escaped stealthily by splitting the Red Sea. Wait. I think that was a movie. Anyway, when I tell the story of Passover, which I am instructed to do, I will include how the Jews of Natick traveled over the Hudson River and had an unforgettable Seder. More details about that later. It's later. Michael, as the youngest, sings out the 4 old questions. What they mean is unknown. My father is playing trombone. Then we go to meet Elijah at the door. I can see the faces round the table, and the grins are getting larger, and the voices begin to soar. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that we will never laugh so hard, never feel so free. I think life that night was more perfect than it will ever be. Uncle Bernie and my mother, overwhelmed, begin to cry. Why? What the heck? Oh my gosh. All right, let's try that one more time, right? We got it? It's Sunday, it's not too late. Here we go. Why? Look at you! That's wonderful. Uncle Bernie passed over. Uncle Harvey passed over. Nana Ida passed over. And my mother passed
Given amor all'anda zise ashene. Oi, Romania, 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 Romania. Given amor alland azise a feine. Dort zu weinen is a Fargenigen, was das Herzglus dir, das kennst du kriegen. A Mameligele, a Pastramele, a Karnatzele, und a Gläsele Wein, aha. Weiß man nicht, Wein trinkt man überall, man verweist mit Kastraval. Hai digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hai digi 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 dam, hai digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hai digi 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 dam. In Rumänien ist doch gut, von kein Sorgen weiß man nicht. Mens weg sein Schwert, mehr verweist mit Kasterwett. Hai digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hai digi digi
Shan nemen heint, wenn men siehst bei a Jontev dicken Tisch. A Gläsel Lechaim, vor Freundschaft und vor Freund, mei so ständig nur munter sein und frisch. A Gläsel Lechaim, vor Land und Wohnung sind doch, und vor jeder in Basunte, wo seinen Heim bringt uns mit A Gläsel Lechaim, der Becher von mit Wein, war der Sohn, siehst du ständig mit uns sein.
War unser größten Land, über uns soll der Himmel hellen Regen. A Gläsel Lechaim, ich wünsch euch nur so sein, mit der Schmeichel euch die Leben soll dir gehen. A Gläsel Lechaim, begleiten sollen ständig weg, mit leibliche und Nonte, wir sollten wohl nicht sein zu schön. A Gläsel Lechaim, voraus was uns behält und verschollen läuft der ganze Welt. Und verschollen läuft der ganze Welt.
Tonight, tonight, L'chaim, 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 tonight. Life has a way of confusing us, blessing and bruising us. Sing L'chaim, tonight, tonight, L'chaim, 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 tonight. One day is honey and raisin cake, next day a summer cake. Sing L'chaim, tonight. Our great ones have written words of wisdom to be used when hardship must be faced. Life of life is us with hardship, so the words of wisdom shouldn't go to waste. To us and our good fortune, be happy, be healthy, long life, and if our good fortune
That's helpful. Oh no. Somebody's coming
No.
up to Joyce.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Oh my. I guess I can ask one. Give me a second. This is really important.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Incredible.
Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. You can join us in the program on page 4.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Shuva, Shuva. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Shabbat Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a perfect and beautiful way to welcome in Shabbat, and we are firmly in the middle of Elul. If you looked up in the sky, you might have seen the full moon, which means that for those of us who are counting down in trepidation to high holidays, we have about 2 weeks, and for the rest of us, we also have 2 weeks. But I want to bring us back to something that Rabbi Kleinbaum shared a few weeks ago in her drasha, which when she was talking about the concentric circles of getting closer and closer to the high holidays, to being able to return again, to being able to start afresh and start anew. Some say it starts all the way at Tisha B'Av, when we begin the Shifta de Nechamta, these 7 weeks of consolation leading up to Rosh Hashanah. And then we have Rosh Chodesh Elul, and then pretty soon we'll have Slichot, and then we'll have Rosh Hashanah. And all of these, as she said, concentric circles bring us closer and closer and closer to being able to touch a little bit of that holiness that we get to on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. But at CBST, we actually also have another marker of the beginning of the year, of returning again and getting to start anew and starting afresh, and that is the start of new interns. Yay! So we are so blessed. We're blessed each year that we get to welcome interns, either who are returning or who are new. And this year, we are so grateful and lucky that we have 2 brand new interns who are absolutely wonderful. So our Cooperberg Grantmaster Rabbinical interns this year are Eliza Schwartz from RRC in her 4th year, and Adam Grabert from HUC in his 3rd year. And the community will, I know, greet them with love and excitement and care. And if you're in the sanctuary tonight, you can say hello to them after services. And for those who are at home, we know that you will also get to know our wonderful, fabulous interns through their teaching and their Torah over the course of this whole year. So tonight we'd like to invite Adam and Eliza up to light candles. And we invite everyone to stand in body or spirit and light candles with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
So let's also take some time to welcome the angels who surround us and are here for Shabbat with us with Shalom Aleichem, page 40.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei HaSharet, shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Truly, what a wonderful start to Shabbat and what a wonderful start to their intern year. I just am so looking forward to all the amazing teaching that both of you will do, all of the good and hard and holy work that is ahead of you. And we are truly blessed by your being here tonight. So thank you. And in addition to Eliza and Adam, we'd like to welcome any new faces, anyone who's here for their first time or their first time in a long time. You can just raise your hand, I'll call on you, and you can say hello and your name. All right, so let's start right here. Susan and Barry, all the way from Alabama. And who are you connected to in this? So, Cantor Rosen, yes, correct. So it was Susan and Barry, right? And who's sitting next to you? Sam's parents are in the kahal tonight for the first time since Sam becoming a cantor, or no? Okay, first time since Sam becoming a cantor. Okay, all right. So, but we're so happy you moved. We're so happy you're here. So happy to have you in the sanctuary. Welcome. And yes, right in the back behind there. Oh, hello, Joe, who's connected to Donna Gray. Wonderful. Hi, Joe. Shabbat shalom. Where are you from, Joe? Okay, local person down in Chelsea. Wonderful. We're happy you're here. Go ahead. Was that Cal? Tom from Minneapolis. Welcome. We're happy that you're here. I have wonderful friends that just moved to Minneapolis, so I feel a personal connection. So welcome. Go ahead. Was it Aviael? Oh, Yael, like me, Yael. You know, people named Yael often become the rabbis here, so just be careful. But welcome, we're happy you're here. Anyone over here? Yes, go ahead.
My name is Helen, and I'm here from Russia, but for the first time actually in this congregation, for the first time in this location.
Oh my goodness, Helen from Russia, and first time in this space.
Well, it used to be a very active member of CBST 1,000 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Wow, Helen, it's so wonderful. I'm so happy that you came tonight and that you're back. Welcome and Shabbat Shalom. How exciting. Who else? Who did I miss? Go ahead. Oh, wonderful. Was it Ace? Ace here with Jeannie. And where are you living, Ace? Okay, uptown. Wonderful. Nice to have you. Upstate. All right, over there. Oh my goodness. So Isaac from London and before then Haifa. Wow. Welcome. It sounds like you've been here previous, but not in this space, right? Have you been to CBST before? No, first time at CBST at all. Wow. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. I'm getting some points that I'm missing. Somebody. Okay. Yes. If you don't mind. Allah? Anna, I'm so sorry. It's so nice to meet you, Anna. And where are you visiting from? From France. Wow, we always have the most incredible international community that turns out. This is wonderful. So lovely to have you. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, how about the balcony? Anybody up there? Yes.
My name is Ani.
Ani?
Yeah.
And where are you visiting from, Ani? Or where are you coming to us from?
Uptown. But I really don't know
Wonderful. So uptown right now and originally Oakland. Fantastic. So happy to have you here. Anybody else up there? Yeah.
I have Leah. I'm from uptown as well, from the city as well.
Are you guys students or you're, yeah, where are you in school? Oh, so fantastic. So visiting us from Columbia Barnard. Yay. Great. Shabbat Shalom. And welcome back to school, too. All right. Who did I miss otherwise? Did I get anyone? Nobody? Everybody here? Wonderful. Well, Shabbat Shalom. And Shabbat Shalom to those who are online. Please introduce yourself online as well. And Sharon Golub, our fantastic chat Gabbai, will make sure to say hello and catch you. And we will turn to page 52, L'chu Neranena. Page 62, Mizmor LaDavid. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Ven Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
You may be seated. So, the past, I would say, few times I have been here for Shabbat, I know that I've said this probably every single time, and it's only because it's true. And that's that I just feel so thankful that it's Shabbat. I'm so glad it's Shabbat, and I know so many of you who are here feel the same way, that you look forward to Shabbat every single week as the pause in your week, and that is exactly how I feel. And I've actually decided that my Shabbat now starts on Thursday night. That's how much I need it. I'm on Thursday night. I'm getting ready for it. And Lecha Dodi is actually about that exact feeling. It's about being so excited for Shabbat that you just absolutely cannot wait to go and greet it and run out to greet it as it is coming in. And the words Lecha Dodi likrat kala, let us go, beloveds, out to greet the Shabbat bride. And there is a little bit of a different emphasis depending on who you are listening to or reading about what piece you're looking at in that first line. So according to Shlomo Halevi, the one who wrote Lecha Dodi, he was really focused on likrat kala. We can't wait to go and greet the Sabbath queen, the Sabbath bride, so much so that his practice was to go out into the field as the light was coming down, as Shabbat was coming in, and go out and greet it as it was literally just coming to the very, the sun was setting on the horizon. However, his brother-in-law, Moshe Cordova, a rabbi in Spain, he really was focused on Dodi, Lecha Dodi. Let us, beloveds, all of us, go out and greet the Sabbath bride. Let us together, not out in the field, not out of the synagogue, but let us all in the synagogue be a part of greeting Shabbat. So it has sort of become the practice to do a little bit of both. The last line, as we're ending Lecha Dodi, we all turn and face the doors, imagining that Shabbat is coming in and walking in, but we don't do it alone, and we don't go outside. There are some communities where they do actually open all the doors and go outside, but here at CBST, we all together bow towards the back of the room, and also a little bit kind of look around at each other, and we're greeting the Shabbat bride together. So Lecha Dodi is found on page 66.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה. רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי. על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קורבה אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי יללי יללי, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי יללי יללי, פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תכרמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תחמי. בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר על צילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי יללי יללי, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי יללי יללי, פני שבת נקבלה. בשלום, עטרת שכינה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, פני שבת
Best way to welcome in Shabbat is with friends, so. On page 72, we reach the Psalm for Shabbat, the Psalm for the day of Shabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot Ladonai Ulezamer Leshimcha Elyon. We usually translate, it is good to give thanks to God, and it is good to sing out praises to your name, Most High. We have a Bi Mitzvah tomorrow morning for Theo Mikesell and his family, and they translated Tov Lehodot Ladonai, it is good to give thanks to God, as it feels good to give thanks to God. And I just loved it so much, so I'm bringing it here tonight. It feels good to give thanks to God, and likewise, it feels good to sing out so much that we raise our voice to the heavens. Tov Lehodot Ladonai. Page 72.
מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר, ליום השבת, מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר, ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נווה, עלי היגיון בכינור, עלי עשור ועלי נווה, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר, ליום השבת. מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר, ליום השבת.
We've reached the evening prayer, the call to prayer. Ma'ariv begins with Baruch Hu on page 78. Please rise in body or spirit.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. And please join me on page 84, reading Let Evening Come. Let evening come. Let the light of late afternoon shine through chinks in the barn, moving up the bales as the sun moves down. Let the cricket take up chafing as a woman takes up her needles and her yarn. Let evening come. Let dew collect on the hoe abandoned in long grass. Let the stars appear and the moon disclose her silver horn. Let the fox go back to its sandy den. Let the wind die down. Let the shed go black inside. Let evening come. To a bottle in the ditch, to the scoop in the oats, to air in the lung, let evening come. Let it come as it will, and don't be afraid. God does not leave us comfortless, so let evening come.
מעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני. המעריב ערבים,
We turn to Ahavat Olam on page 86. Ahavat Olam, often translated as an enduring love, a love that is forever, an everlasting love. And I was re-reminded, it was not my first time hearing, but this small, tiny bit of poetry from Hafiz that to me just seemed like the perfect translation to the type of love that we are speaking about here in Ahavat Olam. And it says, love says, I will. I will take care of you to all that is near. Ahavat Olam, 86.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We read the next two paragraphs individually. And we join together on page 92.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 94.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל
Page 98 for Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chayim Ufros aleinu Sukat shelomecha V'taknenu be'etza tova milfanecha והושיענו למען שמך והושיענו למען שמך.
We think of Hashkivenu as our protection prayer, the prayer that we call on when we need a little bit of extra strength, a little bit of extra protection, when we're lying down at night to go to sleep, or as we're walking on our way needing a little extra protection on our journey. And today, this is not an uncommon occurrence, but one of my friends on Facebook posted that her child has chosen a new name for themselves, and possibly new pronouns as well. And on the one hand, my heart is exploding with joy that so many children right now are able to express their fullness and their full gender identity across the gender spectrum. And on the other hand, my heart is breaking a little bit because I know that LGBTQ youth are still more vulnerable to substance abuse and mental health needs and suicide. And I want to do everything in my power to protect them. And I also want to keep that bit of heart-exploding joy within me as well as I see all of these different announcements across my Facebook feed and across the world. So tonight, I'd like my Hashkivenu prayer to be a protection prayer for all the queer youth and really anyone who's struggling, that they have the protection that they need and the heart-exploding joy that they need as well.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל העמים ועל ירושלים.
Page 102 for Vishamru, we rise in body or in spirit.
ושמרו
move to the Chatzi Kaddish on page 104, and from there we'll move immediately into the Amidah, and that is your time to pray whatever it is that you need to pray, whatever is on your heart or on your mind or in your soul to pray tonight. We invite you to take the time. You can use the words in the Siddur, in the prayer book, which start on page 106. You can use the alternative March Piercy poem, which is on page 124, or you can just tune in to whatever needs to be said right in here. Page 104.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. ועל מה דברה קדותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. ברכו לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ויאמרו אמן.
If you're still davening, take your time, take as much time as you need. When you're done, you can turn your programs to page 4. We listen to the beautiful melody and the words of Nachapta from Lamentations, from Eicha. Just absolute beautiful words for this moment, this season that we're in. Nachapta darchenu v'nichkora v'nashuva ad Hashem. Let us search and examine our ways, and let us turn towards Adonai, Hashem. Nisa levavenu el kapayim, el bashamayim. Let us lift up our hearts with our hands to God in heaven, to God who is in the Shamayim. Page 4.
נחפשה דרכינו ונחקורה ונשובה עד אדוני. 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 נישא לבבנו אל כפיים, אל בשמיים. נחפשה ונחקורה ונשובה עד אדוני. נחפשה דרכינו ונחקורה ונשובה עד אדוני. נחפשה דרכינו ונחקורה ונשובה עד אדוני. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
We turn to page 130 for the Misha Beirach. I'm just reveling in Oseh Shalom for just one other little second. It brings me so much joy. So I just have to, yeah. Misha Beirach. We pause in the service to think of those who we are wishing healing prayers for. Anyone in our communities or in our hearts who need our prayers for healing. Mishaberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Bilha, Vezilpa, Vavotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Hu Yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Bilha, and Zilpa, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, bless us too. Bless and heal all those who are ill. We pray for the healing of Nancy Alvarez, Rose Wachnun, Erica Foreman, Deborah Dolgan-Wolf, Jerry Goldhaber, Gittel Bat Leah V'Yosef, Steve Kodik, Leah Bat Chava V'Yosef, Bruce Lynn, Mordechai Ben Nachman V'Bela Rivka, Alan Messer, Ellen Ratner, and Rivka Shifra Bat Bela V'Mendel, Yisraela Bat Leah V'Yosef. And we include in our healing prayers all those who are currently afflicted with COVID-19 in the CBST community and at large. May they be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of spirit and a healing of body, together with all those who are ill among the Jewish people and among the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, families, and community. And let us say, Amen. So I feel like I get to say this every week, which is such a true pleasure, but we have a simcha in the CBST community. So I think I see Casey up in the balcony. So Casey, I'm going to invite you downstairs, and as you are making the journey down, I'll share a little of your story. Don't worry, take your time, it's okay. So Casey was a Geirut student, a conversion student of now Rabbi Dave Yedid. While Dave was our Cooperberg Master Rabbinical intern, Casey was dutifully studying with Dave through COVID online. And Casey lives in North Carolina, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm waiting to see if Casey emerges and can confirm. Wonderful. Wow, it's like the Shabbos queen, kind of, making their way. Casey, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first time at CBST, correct? So wonderful to have you. So we're truly so blessed by your presence. And after you read the prayer for our country, we'll give you a little bracha, a little blessing for completing your conversion and becoming part of the Jewish people.
Thank you.
So the prayer for our country can be found in the program on page 6.
Dear God, our God and God of all our ancestors, bless this country and all who dwell within it. Help us to experience the blessings of our lives and circumstances, to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. Strengthen us when we're afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we may raise each other up. Help us to be humble with our fear, knowing that as vulnerable as we feel, there are those at greater risk, and that it is our holy work to stand with them. Help us to taste the sweetness of liberty, to not take for granted the freedoms won in generations past or in recent days, to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water, whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes. Its leaves are always green. Source of all life, guide our leaders with righteousness. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening, that they may use their influence and authority to speak truth and act for justice. May all who dwell within this country share in its bounty, enjoy its freedoms, and be protected by its laws. May this nation use its power and wealth to be a voice for justice, peace, and equality for all who dwell on earth. May we be strong and have courage, to be bold in our action and deep in our compassion, to discern when we must listen and when we must act, to uproot bigotry, intolerance, misogyny, racism, discrimination, and violence in all its forms, to celebrate the many facets of God reflected in the wondrous diversity of humanity, to welcome the stranger and the immigrant, and to honor the gifts of those who seek refuge and possibility here, as they have since before this nation was born. Let justice well up like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Amen. Amen. Well done. You get to stay here for just 1 second while you get to revel in your blessing. I'm also just noticing your amazing kippah. I just have to point that out. So we're so blessed that you have chosen the Jewish people, and the Jewish people has chosen you. That you've come to Torah with your unique brand of thoughtfulness. And I'm going to read a bracha, and I will give Casey's chosen Hebrew name. And I'm not going to share their reasons for choosing it, but I just want to say that when they shared with me, it might not sound like it's so intentionally chosen, but it was an absolutely beautifully intentionally chosen name. So I wanted to give you that kavod. So Mishaberach Imotenu v'Avotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors Sarah and Abraham, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov, Leah and Rachel, Bilhah and Zilpah, bless you, Rimon Mibeit Abraham v'Sarah, as you continue your journey toward your Jewish life in the future and beyond. You who have brought such insight, devotion, and compassion to your study of Torah. May the world always meet you with such decency and grace. May God bless you with every opportunity to learn and to flourish and to become ever more yourself. May you continue to grow as a Jew and as a human being in health, in wisdom, and in abundant spirit. May God bless the work of your hands and the work of your heart as you strive in your way to create a better and more peaceful time for you, your family, your Jewish community, and for our world. And let us say, Amen. This is for you. Your Gerut certificate and also a siddur, so there you go. Thank you. Mazel tov. Mazel tov! What a blessing for the Jewish people. So happy. We will continue on page 138 for Kaddish Shalem. You may rise if it is your custom, or you may also stay seated.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. בעלמא דברי הקרותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ויומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות הון ובאות הון דכל ישראל קודם אבוהון די בשמיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen.
So it's now my pleasure to invite up Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum to give us words of Torah. Thank you so much. I'm going to move this out of your way here.
Feels so good to get that off, huh? Sorry. So just to repeat so everybody knows, we took PCR tests so that we could take these off and lead like this. But so happy to see everybody here tonight. And it's so nice to start filling our community again with human beings. Helen, it is so fantastic to see you. It's been a long time. So Helen was living in Russia until the Ukraine war and left. And we're thrilled that you're here. And I know you're a little bit searching for where you'll be, and we're so happy that you're back at CBST. So good to see you, Helen, so good. And we have these every Friday night to keep Ukraine on the front of our minds and to keep the blessing for the people of Ukraine. So every Friday night and Shabbat morning, we have sunflowers, which are the flowers of Ukraine, to bring this constantly into our consciousness. And yes, we get to welcome our 2 new interns tonight. How fabulous is that? And some of you might have noticed in the e-news that went out this morning. Does everybody get the e-news Friday morning, 6 o'clock? If you don't get it, you should sign up to get it. It is all the information about CBSD. We announced that we will be doing the installations of Cantor Sam Rosen on November 11th and Rabbi Yael Werber on December 9th. So mark those in your calendars. Those will be glorious celebrations of another life cycle moment in CBST's cycle of life. Harchivi Makom Oholech. This Haftorah this week is for the portion Kitetse. And we are now in the 5th of the 7 of those 7 weeks of consolation of the ladder that leads us from Tisha B'Av to Rosh Hashanah. This is the 5th. And on this Shabbat, which is Shabbat of Kitetse and of the 5th of these 7 weeks of consolation, we're also observing a memory of 9/11 this Sunday. It is the whatever number, I'm bad at math, what is it? 21 years since the attacks on the United States, and of course here in New York. And 9/11, for those of us who were here then, had an enormous impact, not only on our members like Rick Landman, who lives downtown, and CBST itself was located below 14th Street, which was the frozen area, and that morning, which was a Tuesday morning, so many CBST members were deeply affected by either living or working downtown. And we had famously, and it became part of the exhibit about the Jewish community in 9/11, that morning a congregant of ours was taking his small child to the mikveh on 74th Street for conversion with our 2 interns at the time, Ayelet Cohen and Tracy Nathan, and our assistant rabbi at the time, Roderick Young. They were doing a conversion of a little boy. And they were coming from New Jersey, and they came through the World Trade Center station. And normally that little boy was in the child care center in the World Trade Center, and his father worked in the World Trade Center, but because they were doing the conversion that morning, they were just traveling from New Jersey through to transfer north. And the father told the story that already things were starting to fall, and he took his son and he just kept screaming at everybody, "I have to get to the mikveh, I have to get to the mikveh." And he said his mind shut down as the tower was hit and the subways were shut, and he just ran uptown to figure out how he could get there. And I was on the phone with Ayelet Cohen, who was on a bus to get to the mikveh, recording and reporting what was happening, because I was standing on Washington Street watching the first tower burn and the second plane arrive. I saw it circle around, come from the south, and hit the second tower. And the boy and the father got to the mikveh miraculously, and the 3 of them, and Roderick tells this story so beautifully, what to do in that moment. Is the world ending? We did not know here in New York if this was the beginning of the end. Those of us who were on the streets of the city, we heard reports that 8 more planes were headed towards New York. The cell phone system shut down. We couldn't communicate. There was no news. And Roderick remembers standing in the mikveh with this little baby, and they were all so shaking. And he said, no, we have to go ahead with life. This is exactly the moment, the courage that we're called to do is to get this baby Jewish. And they dunked the baby, they went ahead with the dunking, and they all signed the certificate. And they were all so anxious and nervous, but they understood what Roderick was bringing them through, that to this day on the certificate, you could see their handwriting is very, very, very shaky. And that certificate hung in the museum of 9/11 at the Museum of Jewish Heritage about the Jewish community in 9/11. This boy became a Jew on that morning. And our community stood for life and for the future. Even though we were afraid, even though we were overwhelmed with the uncertainties of the future. Harchivi makom ohalech, the comforting number 5 says to us this week of the Haftarot. Enlarge the place of your tent. Enlarge the site of your tent. Extend the size of your dwelling. Do not stint. Lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm. Harchivi, broaden the place in which you are. Harchivi, make it bigger, make it bigger. Enlarge the site of your tent. Extend the size of your dwelling. Do not stint. Lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm. 30 years ago on this Shabbat, I was installed as CBST's first rabbi. This was my drasha that night. Some of you I know were here then, not here, there. It was Joyce's first time at CBST. A friend brought her to come to the installation. I know for others, Bill Hibsher loves to say it was the first time he was in a synagogue since he kicked his Hebrew school principal when he was 10 years old and was thrown out of his Hebrew school. But this Haftorah, which was the Haftorah I spoke about that night 30 years ago, is, I believe, the vision that still motivates me to have hope and comfort, whether it's the terrorist attacks of 9/11 or what is happening now in the world today. Enlarge the site of your tent, God says to us. The response to terror, the response to fear, the response to anxiety, the response to despair is not to shut down the tent. It's not to It's not to pull the pegs up and bury ourselves into the sand so that we're not visible. The response is to extend the site of our tent, to make sure those who haven't yet arrived have a tent with open doors to welcome them in. Extend the size of your dwelling. Do not think whatever you have is big enough, because the people who have come in are the people who should be here. This is a message, of course, for America, for all of us, that those of us who are here, who came because we were immigrants, now is not the time to close the borders to those who need this country. Extend the size of your dwelling. Do not stint. Be generous. Be open-hearted. Go an additional step, not just externally, but internally, and lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm. So I want to read from the drash that I gave that night 30 years ago, which some of you remember, and it's printed in the book. CBST published a book of my 10 greatest sermons for my first 10 years for my 10th anniversary. It was published on my 15th anniversary, because that's how CBST goes. It's okay, it was good. It took me a long time to edit them. But I want to read a little bit from the drash I gave them. These last 20 years, because that's how long CBST lived at that point, have seen heroism, courage, and imagination. We are here tonight even while we mourn those who have not arrived with us, celebrating the past that has brought us to this day, and glimpsing, tasting the future with which much hard work awaits us. But it is in community that we Jews find God. In the month since I have been a rabbi, we have buried 4 members, and a lesbian couple has given birth to twins, who obviously just celebrated their 30th birthdays. The Lynn Paltrow and Sarah Krulwich twins. We celebrated the conversion and adoption of a 4-week-old baby and the conversion of an active CBST member. And last week, we buried the immediate past president, visionary extraordinaire, Mel Rosen, Olav Shalom. We are a community enriched by diverse families, and we will celebrate them, sanctify them within the Jewish community that we create. For 20 years, CBST has enlarged the size of its dwelling. For 20 years, CBST has risen to Isaiah's challenge. But that charge from Yeshayahu is as pressing today as it ever was. We must continue to enlarge the size of our dwelling. We must continue to lengthen the ropes, even while we make sure that the pegs are firm. And we must not stint. We must remain committed to a Judaism that insists that social justice is an integral part of who we are. We must not say enlarge the tent only to bring us in, but close it tight behind us. We must take our knowledge, our skills, our resources, and ensure that the disenfranchised, the weak, the vulnerable will never be abandoned by this congregation of Jews. God demands nothing less of us. We must not stint. Enlarge the site of your tent, Yeshayahu challenges us. Imagine a CBST that could educate our young to help build a world where the senseless hate of our day and time is only of historical interest. We want our children to be Jews. Enlarge the site of your tent. Imagine a CBST that is a training ground for rabbinical students from all the movements, including in the pastoral care of people with AIDS and their families. Enlarge the size of your dwelling. Imagine a CBST that is a center for Jewish arts. Our members are among the most talented artists in this city. Let us create a Jewish community where music, theater, and literature flourish and our souls are enriched. These words that I spoke then are as true today as they were then. We have come great distances in the time that I've served as CBST's senior rabbi. The possibilities, as I said then, know no bounds, but our foundations must be strong. Lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm. Our life and work together must be founded on our mutual sacred orientation. Visiting the sick, comforting the bereaved, burying the dead, educating ourselves, observing Shabbat and Yomim Tovim, celebrating the events of our lives, and being concerned in the great social concerns of our day. Enlarge the site, the makom of your tent. Makom in Hebrew means place, but it also means God. We must always have the wisdom to remember that this site, this place, this makom of ours is a place of the holy ancient one of old. Let us then go from strength to strength together. So standing before this ark on this day of the 14th of Elul, 5752, in the presence of my teachers, mentors, family, friends, and colleagues, and students, I accept the honor of serving as your rabbi. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us build on the vision that we shared together 30 years ago. We have so far to go, and our foundations are that much stronger. But in this Elul, Let us pray that we have the strength to do this work going forward in the year to come. Shabbat Shalom.
Just amazing to to get to be here in this moment, edging towards the CBST's 50th, pretty incredible, and just to say how much hope you give me, and I know you give all of us for the future. So thank you, Rabbi Kleinbaum. We will continue on page 140 with Aleinu. Please rise in body or in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שברא אותנו בצלמו, ונפח בנו את נשמת חיינו, שהעמיק אותנו בלימוד תורתו, וקידשנו במצוותיה, ואנחנו קוראים ושרים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. חיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Now join us on page 188 for Psalm 27, the psalm for the month of Elul. You may be seated if you were standing.
אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני אותה אבקש, שבתי בבית
Turning to page 150 for the Mourner's Kaddish. This week, CBST remembers members Michael Frank, Henry Mendelssohn, Martin Bernstein, Josephine Kleinbaum, Edwin Klein, Sally Frank, Michael Levine, Ann Nicholson, and Myrna Rich, as well as CBST's family and friends of members Morris Berman, Harold Newberg, Barnett Rosen, Vicki Lustig, Ann Klein, Ethel Ratner, Wayne Albin, Max Kaplan, Bruce Kerman, Andrew Livingston, Brend DiPietro, Sophie Newberg, Samuel Klein, Eleanor Lester, and Ida Lax. CBST also extends deep, deep condolences to the mourners among us, which includes CBST member Amy Rubin on the death of her mother, Lila Rubin, Zichronah Livracha, who died on September 4th. We also offer condolences to the family, friends, and communities of all those who are dying each day from the COVID-19 pandemic. As of today, the total number of deaths are 41,677 in New York City, 71,712 in New York State, 1,074,690 across the United States, and 6,511,099 worldwide. We invite all those who are in mourning or observing a yahrzeit, or if it's your custom, to rise in body or in spirit as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 150. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yamechon, v'chayed lechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ve'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Now I'd like to invite up CBST Board President Sabrina Farber for announcements.
So this is the ceremonial unmasking. I too had my PCR test, just like everyone else who's been able to take their masks off. So Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to CBST. To all of you here in the sanctuary, it's looking fuller and fuller every week. This is very exciting to me. And for those of you joining us on live stream. Before I start, my announcements are going to be a little longer because we're leading into the holidays. There's more happening. I'm just letting you know. But because I come from a traditional family, I'm very pleased to share with you that right before the holidays, my mother always had the windows washed. That was just a thing we did in our house. And I'm sure others of you, yes, Rick Lamon is raising his hand, plenty of you lived in homes like this. Just because CBST also honors those traditions, it's a little hard to tell tonight, but our windows in the sanctuary, the skylights, have been cleaned. So this is my way of telling you it's time for you to come to the sanctuary during the day. Okay, then you can see the really bright, shiny, clean windows, but I'm getting ahead of myself in any event. Thank you to our Bal Tefillah, Cantor Sam Rosen. Thank you to our music director, Joyce Rosenzweig. And deep and unending thanks to our Darshanit, Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum, for your deeply moving words and your unending leadership. Thank you to Rabbi Yael Werber. I still get a kick out of saying rabbi because for the past year I had to keep saying that internship thing. So it's exciting to say rabbi. Like there is an end to this, by the way, for the two of you. It'll happen, I promise. Thank you for your beautiful service leadership. Thanks to our ushers, Lynn and Sally and Bonnie. And a special shout out to our tech wizard, Jason Zivic, who makes us look and sound good every week, no matter what we look like in person. Now back to the clean skylights. Join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in person to see this clean skylights and to celebrate the Bar Mitzvah of Theo Mikesell. Of course, you can join us online too, but then you won't get to see the sun streaming through the clean skylight. If you're unable to make tomorrow morning, come join us tomorrow evening online for Havdalah at 8 p.m. And as Rabbi Kleinbaum referred to, this is the end. Oh, it's 8:30. Okay, but I'm going to tell you, it said in the e-news that it was 8 p.m. Okay, good. Okay, this is why it's good that there are other people here in the sanctuary to make these corrections. So it's 8:30 tomorrow night for Havdalah. And now, as you know, it's the weekend of 9/11. So join us on Sunday for the Children of Abraham Peace Vigil, which is happening from 2 to 5 p.m. There is registration required. You can find that on our website. It'll be at the UN Public Plaza on 47th Street. It's a gathering of Jews, Christians, Muslims, and people of all faiths at this annual vigil, which is co-sponsored by CBST. In a time that has seen so much violence motivated by hate, we need to reclaim this day as one of unity and peace. And on Monday, you can join us for Aging Together solos from 7 to 8:15 p.m. online. They're going to talk about Elul, Tishrei, the ups and downs of the High Holy Days. You can RSVP to agingtogethercbst@gmail. And join us on Tuesday. We have something every day this week, so you're going to be very busy. Join us on Tuesday for the September Justice Beit Midrash from 12 to 1 p.m. That's also online. It's CBST's Ending Mass Incarceration team inviting you to join our partners at the Jewish Coalition for Criminal Justice Reform. This is some of the action items that Rabbi Kleinbaum mentioned in her drash, in her installation, about being involved in issues of the community and the day. This is a monthly learning opportunity featuring Rabbi Menachem Creditor from UJA, and he'll guide us in a discussion of Judaism's evolving consciousness surrounding weapons. How does Judaism hold the tension between self-defense and self-regulation, between personal freedom and societal obligation? Again, please register online. Now, I'm going to give you one hot tip tonight, at least one. You've been listening to Rabbi Werber, and she did tell you that Slichot is coming up. My hot tip is next Saturday night is Slichot, so do not forget. We are celebrating here in the sanctuary at CBST. There will be a class starting at 9 p.m. led by Rabbi Werber, and at 10 p.m. the service will start. It's a beautiful candlelit service not to be missed. Yes, we will be live streaming it, but join us in person. It is a really super special experience. Another weekly update on the High Holy Days. I promised you I'd do this every week so everyone feels like they're in the loop. Registration continues thanks to Ruth, Jesse, Yolanda, and so many other heroes on the staff. I'm happy to report that the deadline for the Book of Remembrance is actually today. So you have about 4 more hours before it really closes, so you'll never hear about this again from me this year. If you have any questions, please contact Ruth Kleinman in the office. You can email her at membership@cbst.org. Before I sign off, I do want to say there are a lot of board members here tonight, which is very, very nice. We are wearing these little tags with our names on them. So if you are new or if you are interested in learning more about CBST, please try to flag one of us down after the service. We will be more than delighted to talk to you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, as always, Sabrina. And tonight's live stream is sponsored by CBST board, clergy, and staff, with deep congratulations and endless love to Casey Casas on this incredible step in your journey as a member of the Jewish community. Mazel tov. CBST board, clergy, and staff is also wishing a mazel tov to the Mikesell family on the Bar Mitzvah of Theo this Shabbat. And the live stream is supported by Terry Kramer and Rafaela Anschel, celebrating and honoring 35 years of deeply caring friendship and chosen family. Amazing. Harry Lutrin on the second yahrzeit of my beloved aunt, Barbara Revitz Steinberg, Zichrona Livracha. And Linda Solomon and Bonnie Siegel wishing a wonderful journey into the fall for everyone. May we all enjoy the days of falling leaves, cooler weather, and lovely breezes, and also wishing good health to all as we enter flu season. Amen. Page 191, Hashivenu. Thank you, Joyce. Kiddush can be found on page 156, and I'd love to invite up our wonderful senior rabbi and our wonderful interns to join us for Kiddush and Motzi.
יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. I think so. Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, a little accident. Sorry.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Ay 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 anay nanay nay anay nanay nay anay nanay nay anay anay yanay nanay nay nanay nanay nay yanay nanay nay anay anay yanay nay nanay anay anay Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai nai nai, tiri nai nai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai nai nai, tiri nai 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 nai. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat